getting frustrated, irritated because you're playing a tournament after another forever. Sometimes your emotions just show and you can only blame yourself. There was no money in India. You couldn't make a living out of it.
Beating a 4 times world champion, Mark Selby.
My mindset was that I wanted to win. I didn't think who I was playing against. In the end, you've made your mistakes and you've lost.
Gary Wilson.
Seen myself maybe winning it because I was playing really well.
Snooker, you took 3 years off?
Yeah.
What happened?
Ishpreet Singh Chadha, a rising star in professional snooker, made waves in the UK by defeating top players like Stuart Bingham, Anthony McGill, Luca Brecel, Graeme, Jack Jones, Hossein Vafiai, and even Mark Selby. In just his second season, he reached the semi-finals of the English Open, proving he's a serious contender on the Pro Tour. Currently ranked 67 in the world, Ishpreet is making his mark on the global snooker stage.
They tried to slow you down, they play games with you.
It's very different when you're playing here because you can't cope with the pressure of workload, people suiciding everywhere. Mother's love cannot be replaced. She's put in so much of her life for me to be here. I actually didn't have a really close relationship with my father. I don't speak to him. He doesn't exist for me. First time I beat Pankaj Advani, who's the wonder boy in India.
Luca Brecel.
I think he had a bad few tournaments at that time. My highest break in the match is a 144. 137 is my highest break in the UK.
But what's the biggest check you've won so far?
When I reached the semi-finals of the English Open, it was...
Something came out about some sort of match fixing.
The players, WPBSA, World Snooker Associations, COVID hit and everything just shut down. All the tournaments, most of the companies, organizations, they backed out sponsorships. The gaming part just died. Probably ruined your career as well.
Welcome back to Take a Seat. This is the #1 channel for mindset and motivation. We bring on guests such as celebrities, sports stars, and influencers. And today's no different. Just a short while ago, we got top 10 heavyweight Johnny Fisher, but we've also got a sports star today. It's in a totally different line. If snooker's your game, then this one's definitely for you. He's already beat 4 times world champion Mark Selby. He's got wins on his record, such as Stuart Bingham. So please welcome Ishpreet Singh Chadha.
Hello.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Thank you, Sean, so much for having me here. And just lovely. Yeah, lovely meeting you.
It's amazing.
And firstly, I would like to just say Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji. That just means I'm thanking the God I believe in.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you come from far today?
From Sheffield, about almost 2 hours, 45 minutes away. So yeah, it was a good journey.
That's the hometown of snooker, isn't it?
Yes,
You
it
know?
is. We've got 2 academies over there, the Dings Academy and Victoria's Academy. Both of them are world-class institutions for playing snooker. And so many good players, like all the top professionals from China, as well as Thailand and other countries. So it's a good place to play.
Amazing. Do you enjoy coming to the UK?
Oh, not at first.
Really?
So actually, I had never visited UK before I came here first in 2023. So it was kind of, should we go, should we not? And it took us some time to acclimatize ourselves and, be here, just staying, living every moment. The weather is so different.
It's cold.
Yeah. Everything's so different. The lifestyle, the culture, everything's so different from where we live in Mumbai. So yeah, it was tough at first, but I think after one season we were good. Like when we went back to India in January, at that time I felt like now I wanted to be in the UK, participating in events. And that's
Amazing.
About it.
And so, being part of the snooker world, you must travel so much because the tournaments are everywhere. What's it like being that they have a massive tournament in China?
Yeah, there are 4 big events open to everyone.
Okay.
Like you need to play the qualifiers in UK somewhere, maybe Sheffield or Leicester or somewhere. But yeah, it's so massive in China. The sponsors we get, the prize money is big, and World Snooker is helping out players by getting in Chinese events. The prize money is so big. It just you just qualify for one event, and it feels like it's so big when you go there. The promoters they treat you as you're some big celebrity, so it's lovely to to play in China.
I mean, you are in some way, shape, or form because you're providing a lot of entertainment. I mean, my dad and even myself, we all just watch you and other snooker players. It's just like you can just lie down on the sofa and the whole afternoon just watching you stroke them balls in. Do you know what I mean? Just like it's mesmerizing, and it's almost like we're telling you what to do. Put a screw back on that and don't come too far. Oh, but like you guys make it look so easy because them tables are massive, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you start playing over here, it's kind of tough because the tables are very different from where you've been playing in India or maybe
Yes.
China, or for anyone who's been playing in Europe before playing on the tour.
So
So
tell us about the differences in all the tables. What is it like when you're playing in India? Is it because they don't change the cloth often? Is it because of the temperature? What things affect the table?
I think it's mainly because the tables are different. We've got like different company tables in India. We've got Viraka tables, an Indian brand called Sharma tables. We've got many other tables, but we've hardly ever got star tables in India and of good quality. Also, the cloth we put on over there is much thicker than what we play on here. Here it's like double shaven cloths, number 10, super fast. And I think those are the main differences that you can find in India and over here. So
So how do you adjust?
it was really tough in the beginning, but I think after about 4 5 months, I was kind of used to it. And more than tables, I think just living in the UK itself is is a challenge in itself. So yeah.
So how does it affect your play that, sometimes you got to strike the ball a lot harder to get it to where you need it to, whereas when you come into the UK, you're just hitting it and the ball's flying like double the speed. How do you manage that?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most tough thing to do is change your touch, the way you play. I think you need a lot of training. You need a lot of practice on these tables, and I think you need to experience a few losses before you can actually play well. To be honest, but yeah, it's tough in the beginning. But I think once you get used to it, you don't want to play anywhere else. You want to play on the tour. So
So how do you adjust when you go back to India and you're playing on the slower cloths again? Would you like think to get one of these tables imported into India and practice on that sort of style to make your game better, or is it easy for you just to adapt?
so now I think a year back, the club I used to play in India, so that they've got a star table over there now. So it's a huge bonus for me. Whenever I go back, I get to play on the star table. But yeah, it's very different when you go to India and play and when you're playing here, because your touch changes. You need to hit a little bit harder in India, obviously, because it's a humid country as sorts. It's not cold everywhere, and it's always cold in UK wherever you go. So I think it's a lot different in that sense.
I'll tell you what else is different because I remember when I went to India as a youngster, that's where I'd want to go play pool or snooker. And I always used to go by myself. And there's always was a boy there ready to help me, play with me. It was his job. And every time we used to pot the balls here in the UK, we normally have to take the balls out ourselves and re-rack them. But there was a boy called Chote, and that's it. He used to come over and rack the balls for us. The hospitality was completely different out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just people are employed to do that. Over there you've got people called markers who mark the balls for you over
Wow.
there, and in the clubs we have cultures that their job is to help players. I mean, for players to learn the game first, obviously, and then to play with them if nobody else is available.
Hmm.
So it's more like. Uh, they are helping you build a base, kind of, just start playing with you so that you can play. But yeah, I just readied myself up when I when I came here. I knew I was have to going to just remove balls for
Little
myself.
bit more
Yeah.
exercise around here, mate.
Yeah, of course, it's so different.
So I have to ask you this question. What did it feel like beating a 4 times world champion, Mark Selby, someone of that stature where you've probably watched on TV, lifting up so many trophies, and you're sitting in front of him and you've beat him?
Yeah, so I think it was my first quarterfinal in that event. I had crossed the last 32 for the first time. I had crossed the last 16 for the first time. and it was my first quarterfinal as well. So I think before the match, I just switched my mind completely off, and I didn't think who I was playing against. I think that helped a lot because I just rushed to a 3-0 lead in the start, and he came back at me, and I was kind of expecting it too. But yeah, just so happy to win in the deciding frame when I was down by about, I think, 54 points with 67 on. So yeah, it was just unbelievable to win that match on the final black 5-4. And yeah, I think the best win of my career so far.
Absolutely. I mean, how do you prepare for that mentally?
I mean, it's a little bit tough because he's also my favorite player. So, but I was very excited to play against him, and my mindset was that I wanted to win and not just play against him and just show up for the match. You don't want to do that. You want to win when you play against such a big player for the first time. So I think, yeah, my I was very strong mentally before the match, and yeah.
Did he say any words to you, or I mean, did you after tell him that he's one of your favorite players, or was there any conversation?
I think I had some interviews before the match, and I mentioned that maybe he listened to that, or I don't know if he heard about it. But yeah, he congratulated me after the match, and he was like, "Well played and good luck for the next one." So
I've seen him lose his temper a few times as well on the table. He's missed a shot and then he's just hit the ball as well. What do you think about when snooker players lose their composure a little bit? I've seen another snooker player throw their cue off, and it's like all of a sudden fines come, and it wasn't really sportsmanship. Like, how do you keep calm, and what do you think of situations like that?
so I think for me, I would kind of never do that because I've been taught that you have to respect the game so that the game respects you back. And I try to do I try to not react as much as I can, but sometimes your emotions just show, and I don't blame players for doing that at all because I have experienced what they've experienced on that day. And getting frustrated, irritated because you're playing a tournament after another. It's like for forever, it just continues. The tour is it's it get the game gets so hard at some time. uh, you're playing about 14 events a year, and almost two in a month. So you've got qualifiers, you got some other event, you've got something or the other. So I mean, when you're not playing up to the mark, I feel like you just lose your temper sometimes. But to I don't support reacting in that way,
Hmm.
to be honest, because I've been taught you should never disrespect the game, or the table or the balls or anything,
Hmm.
because you're living off it, kind of. You're you know you're winning prize money, and your home's running by it. It's your bread and butter. So I think you should never disrespect something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to put uh you know to put your views on it. But yeah, that's my thought on it.
Watch all these people watching you. How do you cope with that pressure?
Yeah, so I think I used to play a lot of matches back in India as well, and I used to get maybe 30-40 people watching me live at some time. And I've played some few national finals, Asian Championship finals, so I've got some crowd over there as well. But I think I just love it when there's more people watching me live.
Really?
It just excites me.
Does it give
And
you a buzz?
yeah, it does give me a buzz. And maybe for some people it's too much pressure to handle, but I feel so good in those situations. Like, I just want to perform the level best. So I feel really nice playing out there.
Today's episode has been sponsored by Sean Land. We're growing a like minded community on Discord. So if you click on the link in the bio, you can enter it absolutely free. How do you feel about energy? Um, Spiritually, your faith, and how does that play a part in when you're playing snooker?
So the Guruji I follow, I've connected with him for almost 2 years now, and almost it's just changed my life around. I started following him in around February or March in 2023, and 3-4 months later, I was I was qualified for the Pro Tour, and I think it's so important for people. I would suggest young people to connect with whatever they believe in whichever religion they are, whichever caste. Every god is the same, obviously, and you just surrender yourself to one. And I feel it's so important when you get your spiritual side aside and you're just there, somebody's going to take care of me no matter what. That kind of inner peace helps you so much in life.
Mm.
You won't, I feel, you won't ever face depression. You won't ever feel you're alone. You will always feel happy, even if in the toughest situations of your life. I think it's so important to be spiritual and not kind of, maybe not religious as much, but to connect with something that's not here.
Mm. So you have nothing to lose by
Yeah,
believing in,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
something
Only to
spiritual.
gain, only to gain. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
because there's a lot of people out there who are lost. They don't know why their world is not going right or things are not happening for them. And mental health is massive,
yeah,
especially in this country.
yeah,
People are swiping on their phones, scrolling, they're looking for the next high. And when things don't go their way, they just like fall into depression very quickly. I think even you mentioned there's even a high suicide rate even in India,
yeah.
so having some sort of belief.
Yeah, I think everywhere. It's just not India. Maybe people like suiciding everywhere. Young people, especially, can't cope with the pressure of maybe studies, pressure from parents, maybe workload, anything. It can be anything. But I think when you connect to something higher, in a higher spirit or something, but you just get, you just calm yourself. You get inner peace. You get happiness. It's a weight off your shoulders. I feel that one part of your life is sorted out, and the rest just takes its own course. You're on the right track when you. I mean, I feel very lucky to be, so I feel 100% connected right now. I'm 100% connected, and I feel so lucky to have found it at 28 years old.
Wow. That's amazing. And it is showing through. I mean, you just beat Gary Wilson in the Welsh Open, and he was the, reigning champion of that tournament, right?
Yes, he
Yeah.
was. He won it the last season. He won the Welsh Open in the last season, and yeah, he's a three-time Home Nation Series champion. So it was a big win,
You've been,
obviously.
you've been in some big matches already, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Lucky to have come out on top of most of them.
That's just like amazing. It's like, how does that pressure not get to you? You're probably thinking, oh, on the draw, I've got Gary Wilson. He won last year, and I'm playing this guy. How do you change that and go? Doesn't matter. He's just another player next to me, and my job is to concentrate on my game and win. How do you do that?
Yeah, Sean. That's what you said is my mindset. I mean, that's just another player. Even if he won last year, it doesn't matter. It's a new tournament. It's a new day. It's a new game. The balls can treat you anyway. You need to respect the game. So yeah, if I think if you just put in the hard work, respect the game will give it back to you sometime. I've had so many losses in my career, but you only learn. I've learned not to lose in matches. Instead, just learn from them. So I think that is one of the toughest things to do. But as I said before, if your mind's right, if your mind's in the right place, then you can achieve anything in life.
So losses is not the end.
No, no, it's just the beginning. I feel, yeah. I think every person should lose a lot before they start winning. That is my mindset, because if you just start playing a sport and you just start off winning, then it's very difficult to cope with the losses. So I feel it's like you should lose a lot before you start winning.
I,
That's
lo-
what I did,
I,
and I
lo-
think I'm on the right track.
I love that because that's transferable to anything you do in life,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it? Um, when you are in a position that the balls are not going for you, you're losing. You might be losing frame after frame, and every shot or when you're going back to the table, there's nothing on, and you're just like, "Come on, give me a shot." How do you reset? How do you reset that, and how do you sort of change, like, so if there's like a small interval, how do you regroup and go, right, I'm gonna have to change this aura and energy of this match now?
Yeah, so I just smile at the balls, just you just smile and you just keep going. You don't look back what's happened before. Some luck is something I feel that will even out in a match. It won't be in one person's favor ever. If two people are playing, it'll obviously, if someone's winning and he's got luck on his side in the first few frames, you will get it in the later stages. It's only how well can you know how well you can cope with it, and you can how well you can take your chances when the luck comes. So I think luck is very overrated, kind of. When people say, "Oh, he was very lucky," but in the end, you've made your mistakes and you've lost it. So I mean, your you can only blame yourself, but not too much, because then it'll affect you mentally. But you need to learn and just forget about it. And if you're down in a match, I feel like when I maybe there's an interval, I just talk to myself. Yeah, you're still playing well. It's fine. He's just got some luck with him at this point, but it'll change obviously. And just keep playing well and hope for the best. But sometimes that's not enough. You lose, you go on to the next one.
And a lot of people get big headed.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the man. I've just beat Mark Selby. I'm this man, but you seem very grounded and still confident in your ability. So that's pretty special. And like, how do you not let yourself get ahead, because you're on live television now in
Yeah,
UK?
yeah. I think, yeah, I think it just goes back to kind of my upbringing. Like my mom, she's always kept me grounded. Like after every match, I have to speak to her, obviously. So it's okay. It's just one match. My coach is the same. Back in India, Mr. Yasin Merchant, he's the same. He just calms me down after every match. I speak to him before and after every match. So he just tell me it's okay. It's just one match. Don't get too excited by all the messages coming in on social media, WhatsApp or anywhere. Just stay cool, just stay calm. And it's very tough to do, I'll tell you. You get excited a lot of the times when you win big matches, but you just need to keep calm and just give your best in the next match.
Yes. Let's talk about some of your wins. Um, and you know what? We can't do a podcast without talking about Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, have you met him?
Yeah, I've met him a couple of times. Yeah, sat next to him once in one of the players' lounge in China. Yeah, so
Very,
just spoke to him for about a minute or so.
yeah, very special player, no?
Yeah, yeah. He's just got a different aura around him
Yeah,
that no other player has.
really.
Yes. But yeah, it
What,
was lovely to
what do
meet
you
him.
mean by that different aura?
I mean, he's got some very very high energy around him, and you can just feel it when you're around him. You feel like, oh, you're sitting next to someone. You don't get that with everyone.
He still holds the fastest 147.
Yes, he does. Yeah,
Plays
in match.
right-handed,
Yeah.
left-handed. That's
Yeah.
pretty. Can you play left-handed?
No, no, not at all. But I compensated with good rest play. So yeah.
So if I ever play you, you have to play left-handed. Give me a chance.
I'll just stay at home instead. I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of these. Let's go back to April 22, the Bangalore Snooker Academy,
Yeah.
the All Indian Open. How did that go for you?
Yeah, that was lovely. That was probably the first time I beat Pankaj Advani, who's the wonder boy in India. He's won so many multiple world titles in billiards and snooker. I think that was the first time I beat him in a big event and won that event as well. It was one of the biggest events in the country at that time. It was just an amazing feeling winning that one, I feel.
Did that boost your confidence?
Actually, my confidence was like I was on a high completely, because I had won the nationals in 2021 December before that, and I was on a win streak for about 6 tournaments after that. I didn't lose in any tournament for about 6 or 7 events.
Wow.
So I was already on kind of a high,
Yeah.
and just winning that one meant so much more.
Does that come with pressure?
I mean, at that time, I felt like I couldn't lose, to be honest. But yeah, you need to stay positive as well as grounded at some time, because suddenly it can all just go away. So you need to just keep working hard and yeah, stay grounded.
Yes, December 22, the SAARC Snooker Championship.
Yeah, the SARC snooker event is the Southeast Asian countries play in that. And yeah, it was a lovely event. It was my first time I played that event, and it was in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Amazing hospitality. I would like to thank everyone over there.
Really?
Yeah, I still remember that event, and it was just lovely. The hospitality in Dhaka Club, all the organizers, they were lovely, and that was a lovely event. It was an all Indian final. Two Indians played in that event, and we both reached the final. Alongside me was Brijesh Dabani, uh, a very friendly peer of myself, and yeah, just enjoyed that event completely.
And snooker is big in Bangladesh?
Not really. I feel pools a lot bigger than snooker in Bangladesh. I feel pools, the game they play a lot, and they've got some good players in 9 ball and 8 ball
Can you
probably.
play pool?
I started off with pool actually.
Yeah.
When I started playing Q Sports, it was the first game I played was 9 ball, and it was just after school fun for about a year, and then I switched to snooker eventually. So
Amazing. And sometimes there's these special tournaments. You see snooker players go over to play some pool. A lot of them are like American one, like
yeah,
the American style.
yeah.
Would you do that for like if you invited for fun, or is it a totally different game?
Yeah, I mean, why not? You can obviously switch for some time off snooker. You obviously need some time off playing professional snooker, because it gets a little bit too taxing at some point in your life. So, yeah, why not? I mean, I enjoy playing 9 ball pool, but I don't think I can play any other format except for that, because that is the only one which seems too much fun to me. So, yeah.
We play like the normal pool. You're either red or yellow,
Yeah, yeah,
that sort of style.
correct.
But
The stripes and solids one,
yeah,
kind of,
yeah,
yeah.
that too. Also,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
is exactly the same. But I mean, if you was to go to the local pub now and play a little
Yeah,
mini
if I'm playing
tournament,
with friends,
yeah,
then it's a
yeah,
different thing, but not competitively.
yeah,
I don't think I would be able to play competitively except
yeah,
for 9 ball or something. Yeah.
yeah. How do you play in like if you go to a pub? Like, are you really good on them pool tables just as well? Are they transferable skills from your
I
snooker?
mean, to be honest, I don't visit pubs at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not kind of, I don't smoke, I don't drink, so pub's not a place for me, to be
No.
honest. Yeah, so I don't visit a pub.
Yeah, okay. So in June 23, you reached the final Asia, Oceania, is it?
June 23.
Is it
Yes,
June
yeah,
23?
yeah,
Final of the Asia
yeah. That was the
Oceania.
qualifying for the pro tour, right?
Yeah, in Bangkok.
Yes, that's right.
Amazing.
That's right.
And then you you entered in 2023 the Championship League
Yeah.
in Leicester.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's when we probably sort of
Yeah, that
no,
was my first event on the tour.
we noticed you a lot more. Top 16? Did you beat is it David Gilbert?
I think I tied with him. The
Oh,
format's a bit different in the championship league. It's like a best of four. So you can either win 3-0, 3-1, or you can go 2-all, which is a tie. But it's a group of 4 people, and you need to play 3 matches. So whoever's on top of the group, he goes through the next he goes through to the next group.
okay.
So I think I finished third in that one, so
And you got a
I didn't
win
qualify.
over Sean O'Sullivan.
Yeah, yeah, that was my first
Yeah.
win on tour.
And then you in 2023 again the British Open, the biggest win of your career.
Yeah,
You beat former world champion Stuart Bingham.
yeah,
How
yeah.
was that?
Yeah, that was a lovely experience. I mean, Cheltenham was where the tournament was held, and it was such a beautiful venue. It was amazing playing there. It was on top of a kind of a hill, and yeah, I just enjoyed. I think it was raining the day I played. It was good weather, but yeah, it was amazing playing Stuart and winning the first time I played him. Tough match, obviously, former world champion. I respect him a lot. He's such a good person. Yeah, amazing playing them.
What's his sort of style that you spot? Because when you play against players, do you know they're more attacking? They play more safety. They try to slow you down. They play games with you. Like, what did you spot when you were playing Stuart?
I think none of that. I mean, Stuart Bingham's one player. I feel he just plays his own game. Doesn't care about. I mean, who's playing against him, or I don't feel that he changes style playing against anyone. Yeah, I think it's similar to me. I just play. I'm an aggressive player. I go for my shots, and I don't change my game. Doesn't matter who I play. So yeah.
Do you ever lose your confidence when you're going for a shot and you've missed three times? You've got a shot on the table. You've missed maybe one, two, three times. Do you then try to change your game plan to go? Let me just try play safety until I get a good hand on the
No,
table.
I think I've never been that sort of a player that will really play safe and wait for my chance. I mean, if there's a pot on and I feel it's the right shot to go for, I will go for it. And I think that's how I'm trained by my coach as well. And I think that's why people like to watch me play also.
It's
But
exciting.
I don't think about that too much. I just
Yeah.
feel whatever is right in that situation, just go and play that shot.
Amazing. I
Yeah.
like that. I think it is more entertaining to watch
Yeah.
because when Ishpreet's on that table, he's gonna go for it.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you. Come on, let's go. The German Masters in January 24, biggest win, 5-2 win over Luca Brecel.
Yeah.
How was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I think that was uh obviously he was the world champion at that time, and a lot of expectations maybe from him to perform at that level, because I think he had a bad few tournaments at that time. And I had played him in my first main event arena in European in Germany in for the European Masters, which was held in Nuremberg, I think. uh, that was the first time I played him, and I lost 5-3. So I wanted to kind of get back at him, to
Get
be honest.
even.
But I think that was my best match by far uh, over there when I played against Luca. I think till that time that was my best match
How do you rise
in
to
this
the
one.
occasion?
Yeah, I think I just wanted to win really badly, to be honest. That was my first thing in my mind, and I think I just wanted to win. I think the hunger made me play, I think, better than what I used to play at that time.
Mm,
So yeah.
love that. So you came near me, Brentwood, Essex, in 24 for the English Open semi-finals. You got wins against Jack Jones and former world champion Graeme Dott. How was it playing? How was it playing against Graeme?
Yeah, so I think that was my breakthrough event. Uh, Before that event, my best performance was last 32, and I played Graeme Dodd in the second qualifying match, and it was kind of an easy match going till I was 3-1, and then suddenly he just started playing really well. He went 3-2 and almost made it 3-all, but I got a good chance on the yellow when it was 3-2 and I cleared up. So I think it was a tough match because he's a very gritty player, and yeah, he can just start at any time. All the former world champions, they can just start, switch on, switch off at any time. So yeah, I feel such it's a pleasure playing all the former world champions.
It's amazing. Like 1 minute you're in India, you're probably watching snooker on the TV, and obviously you're watching all these top 10 players. And a year or two later, you're here among them, playing with them. How does that feel?
Yeah, I think 3 years back I used to talk to my mom and say that, I want to be playing over there. It just felt like that was the next thing to do. And 1.5 year later, I was on the tour, and I didn't expect to be where I am right now. Uh, Playing on the TV table, winning matches on the TV table, which is tougher than being on the TV table. So yeah, I think I didn't expect myself to do that in the first 2 seasons, maybe. But yeah, just happy the way things are going right now.
Amazing. You also beat 4 times world champion Mark Selby there as well. That,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, how did the crowd react to that? Because obviously he's a favorite player as well. Do you feel any energy from the crowd or people were upset?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the toughest match so far in my career. And when I won that match, I remember clearly that all everyone in the crowd gave me a standing ovation, and I had to clap back at them. You know, it was just an amazing feeling winning that match, beating Mark Selby. Also, the crowd loving me winning that match meant more to it. Yeah, I just felt really, really fantastic after that.
Hmm. And your mum is in the crowd too?
Yeah, yeah. I think she couldn't hold back and she started crying during that. I mean, when I won the match. So yeah, I think the camera was focused on her when the match ended, and yeah, justifiable. You know, she's always been there for every match, and I think she goes through it more than I do. So yeah, I mean, just happy that she could experience that with me.
And like, how does it feel when you know your mum's watching you play?
Yeah, I mean, if I have just one supporter, I would like it to be her. I don't I couldn't care less if nobody's cheering for me in the crowd. I just want my mom to be there. That's it.
Oh, that's amazing. Because some people don't respect the appearance,
Yeah.
and you've got so much respect for your your mum. Where does that come from?
I mean, she's everything to me. She's a friend. She's my manager. She's my cook. I can share, I can share everything was with her. I mean, she was my driver back in India. She was like everything to me. She means everything. So, I mean, we've got a very, very special bond.
Mhm.
I feel our souls are kind of, attached
Aw.
together. So,
What
I
sort of
mean,
things does she cook you? What are some of your favorite dishes? That's what I want to
yeah, yeah,
know.
that's like top secret. I mean, it's just amazing food, to be honest. I mean, a mother's love cannot be replaced, and you know the it's just not the food; it's like everything, everything that goes with it. Like I'm just so blessed that I've got such a lovely mother, amazing supporting mother. She's never told me that you cannot do this, you cannot do that. You just live the life the way you want. So yeah, I think that's all a child needs is love and support from their parents.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful to hear that. So let's go over to you're actually the first Indian player to reach a ranking event in the semi-finals since Aditya Mehta
Aditya
in
Mehta, yeah.
to 2013.
Right, right.
You're breaking records, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully be the first one to win an event also soon.
Come
But
on.
yeah,
It's gotta happen.
yeah, my
It's
Guruji's
it's it's
blessing,
just
yeah.
time before you're already there. You're already playing on them tables. People are already watching you live. It's just time. You're only gonna get better and better. Um, so in February 25, which is just now, you reached the last 32 of the Welsh opener.
Yeah.
You obviously won against Gary Wilson. So is it obviously it wasn't exactly what you wanted as well because you wanted to probably go further,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
how did it make you feel this tournament?
I mean, I when I won against him, obviously I get so much love and encouragement from all my friends, family, all my fans back in India. There were so many supporters in Wales as well. Amazing city, by the way, Landudno. Lovely tournament, Welsh Open. But yeah, a little bit disappointed about the way I ended in the tournament. Like lost in the round of 32, and I could have seen myself going further in the event, maybe quarterfinal, semi-final, maybe winning it because I was playing really well before the event and I had a lot of confidence going into the event. But yeah, uh, it's all right. I mean, uh, winning and losing is just part and parcel of the game, and you got events after events coming up, so you can't just hold on to one thing and just keep crying or something like that. But yeah, a little bit disappointed with that loss over there.
We have so many sports out there. There's boxing, people put their lives on the line. There's, so many different things that people do. Do you think that as snooker as an industry that you're paid fairly?
I mean, it's just growing. I feel the prize money is at a record now this season itself. Uh, some of the players have already earned money as much as they could have earned in about 2 3 seasons, maybe 5 years back. So I think it just keeps on getting bigger and better. And with tournaments coming up in Saudi Arabia and maybe another UAE country gets snooker going in their country as well. So China is booming with snooker and hayball as well now. So I mean, there's only good things to come for snooker, I feel, and it's going to get bigger. And I think I've turned pro at the right time.
Yeah. Can I be really nosy and just ask, and you don't have to answer this, but what's the biggest check you've won so far?
So it's all actually up there on the website. Also, you can check it. But the semi-finals, when I reached the semi-finals of the English Open, it was 21,000 pounds. But there's so much tax over here, so you barely get anything, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of help, obviously, winning that sort of money, and just helps with the keep on traveling, and you know just it's so expensive compared to India just living here. So I think it just helps a lot winning matches, big matches, winning, getting to the later stages of events. Yeah.
And did you buy yourself any gift?
I bought mom more than I bought for myself, to be honest. But yeah, she deserves everything she gets, and yeah, we shopped a lot. We are still on a spree of shopping, to be honest. But yeah, um, it's just lovely the sort of things you can buy in UK. I mean, everything from clothes to shoes to everything. So just amazing. So we just like shopping over here instead. We don't shop in India anymore, to be honest. We just like to shop here and just take it back to India or something.
Come with the empty suitcase and go back with the full one,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah.
How does it feel that you're in a sport that if you won one of these tournaments, you could be winning like 500,000 to £1 million sort of thing? How does that make you feel? Is it more about the money or more about playing? Is it the passion? Is it now a amalgamation of both?
Yeah, I mean, I've never actually played snooker for the money, to be honest. I wouldn't have chosen snooker if I were in it for the money, because there was no money in India. You couldn't make a living out of it, to be honest. But yeah, you can make a living out of it over here. And when I go into tournaments, don't think about money as much. Just want to play my best, and I want to win the tournament. That's it. That's my main goal. And the money is just kind of a bonus, to be honest.
Bypass of it. So
Yes.
how do you come to the UK as being an Indian resident? Like, do they sponsor you? Do you get sponsored visa or visiting visa? How does it work?
So I have to apply for a work permit, for a work visa, and World Snooker is, I mean, they support you in every possible way. So they give you a certificate of sponsorship, they give you a work permit letter, everything. I mean, you're working for World Snooker. So, I mean, they are very, very helpful to all the foreign players, and they are doing such an amazing job, to be honest. Yeah.
It's amazing. The reason why I'm asking because someone in India could be watching this.
Yeah.
And he's probably thinking, I don't know if I can play snooker, and if I am any good, how the hell do I get a visa and things like that? So there are opportunities.
Yes. I mean, if you turn pro, I mean, it can change your life. I mean, if you do well on the tour, obviously there's money. There's, I mean, the life is really good in the UK as well, except for the weather. I
Yeah.
think nobody's adjusted to the weather ever, even being born in the UK. But yeah, if you qualify as a pro, I think there are many benefits. Now you get 20,000 guarantee, £20,000 guarantee money by World Snooker, half in the start, half after about 6 months. So I think there's something they are helping players with. They are
Yeah.
just doing something. So I think it's a big boost for players because the start of the season is when the players need money a lot
Mhm.
to travel, to get to the venue, to travel around Europe, maybe travel around UK, everywhere, go to China. It's expensive. The flights are expensive. So I think they are doing a good job. WPBSA, World Snooker Association, is doing a good job to help players in every way.
Amazing. And how did you afford the flights at the beginning? You know, before money started coming in and things like that. How did you fund your passion, your sport?
I mean, by God's grace, touch would be like Guruji's mayor. We are well off. Like kind of, we don't kind of. I don't want to say that I don't need sponsors. Obviously, I need sponsors for sure. But we were kind of well off to base ourselves here in the start. Obviously, it gets a little taxing after a while because if you're not winning, then it gets a little bit taxing financially. But the second season has been good by Guruji's mayor. So yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. You speak a lot about your mum, which is amazing. And can I ask about your father?
Yeah, so I mean, my mom's been a single parent since about I was about 13, 14 years old.
Right.
So I actually didn't have a really close relationship with my father. I don't speak to him. So
Really?
yeah, it's like he doesn't exist for me kind of.
Wow.
So yeah, she's all I need, to be honest. She's given me the love of a father, mother, grandparents, everything. So I don't need anyone else.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing that your mum fills both roles. But your father, does he still reach out or try to contact you, or
No,
l-
not really. Not
or
really. We
seeing
are
you
like
on the TV now? Like,
no, 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 not really. Like we haven't spoken in about maybe 10, 12 years. So I don't expect anything to change. Yeah, I think that's all I would like to talk about that.
no, okay. All right, amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no worries.
So look, I want to go back in time and I want to go back to maybe primary school when you're like 10, 11 years old. What was young Ishpreet doing then?
So young Ishpreet used to play. Uh, I used to play cricket, basketball, football, each and every sport you can name, tennis, table tennis. Uh, I used to play throw ball for my school. I used to play inter school, once qualified for the state level as well. Uh, but then, yeah, when I started playing snooker, I just kind of left everything else. And snooker was the thing I was interested in.
Was you a
That was my.
natural?
In snooker? I mean, my potting was good since the start, but I needed a lot more, I mean, training and coaching around it because just potting is not enough. And I feel you need to learn a lot before you can actually compete. So yeah, I think in some way I was kind of a natural gifted potter, kind of. Maybe people used to say that, but only I know how much hard work I've put in. So yeah.
How much hard work do you need to put in?
So when I started playing snooker and when I used to be coached in the beginning, I used to play for about maybe 8 hours a day. But then obviously when once you reach a certain level, then it just drops down to about 4 5 hours. And I still practice about 4 hours whenever I can. Not before events. I just like to mellow it down to about 1.5 hour before events because I want to keep my energy high and I want to be hungry for the matches. So I don't play a lot before events. I think 10 days before an event, I just cut it down to 1 2 hours a day.
Okay. Do you have to be physically fit to play snooker?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you are playing longer matches, you have to have good mental focus. Good. I mean, you have to be physically fit because you never know how long a match can take. You're gonna be sitting in your chair and just come out and your hands are all cramped up. Then that won't work. You have to be focused all the time. So I think there's some kind of physical activity except playing snooker has to be there for
Hmm.
sure.
Don't your fingers ever get sore with the cue going through it or
No,
anything?
no, no,
No?
no.
And how much does your cue matter? Because I remember this time that I think it was Ronnie O'Sullivan the tip fell off, and then he had to use a different cue, and his game just changed.
Right.
How important is your cue? Like, do you have one cue? Do you have many cues?
Yeah. So
Is there a certain weight balance ratio? Small tip, big tip? How does that work?
so I've got my queue since I think almost now 12, 13 years. It's a pretty old queue. I would like to change it now. I feel every player has a typical height and weight they would like for the queue. So it actually depends on the player's perspective, how heavy they want it, how long they want it, and also the tip sizes, how big or small they want it. So it all depends on preference, to be honest. But yeah, I've got a 57-inch cue and about a 9.6 tip size, also about 17.9 ounce cue. I think I want to change it now. I've ordered one. Hopefully it'll be with me soon. But yeah, I would like a little bit longer cue for
A
me.
little bit
Yeah,
longer.
yeah, yeah.
Why is it? Because you've got taller since you've had it, or
I mean, I
or
just feel it's a little bit short for me, and
right?
I've experienced it's not working as well as it could. Probably if I get a
Wow,
longer queue, I maybe even play better.
wow.
So I think it matters a lot, to be honest. But it's working for me right now. I feel like it'll be better if I get a new queue, a little bit, maybe a 58-inch queue instead of a 57. So yeah,
We're
hopefully.
talking about that much more
Yeah,
an
yeah,
inch.
it makes a lot of difference, to be honest. That's like two fingers more on the back of the queue.
Wow.
So I think it makes a huge difference.
And how do you adjust to that cue? If you're so many years playing with that same cue, and all of a sudden it's like, who are you?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
I think you just need practice, and I feel all the players who are on the tour right now, all the professional snooker players, they don't need too much time to get used to a new cue. I mean, maybe 2 weeks is at tops. That's all they need. Yeah, I mean, everyone's so good right now. The standard is so high that if you give someone a new cue, I mean, I've heard a story. I think it was Nopon Sengham from my academy. His cue didn't arrive at a tournament, and he borrowed Sean Murphy's cue in
Wow.
an event, and he won the match.
Wow.
And it was funny because the next round he got his own cue and lost the match. So
Oh, wow.
it was a little bit funny as well. But I mean, that's how high the standard is, and the adaptability of players nowadays is amazing.
So if I just gave you another cue which was similar to yours, like, how would you feel going into
Yeah,
a
if it's
tournament?
similar, then it's okay. But I feel the tip matters more than the cue because it's about how you hit the ball. So if you some players, like most of the players, I feel use medium hard tips, and I use a soft tip. So I think not many players on the tour use a soft tip. So
Really?
yeah, it'll be much more difficult for me to use somebody else's cue.
Right. And
So
why does a softer tip matter to you?
I mean, I've just played with it since the start, and I just like the feel of it.
Well,
It's just preference, to be
and
honest.
it doesn't make a difference how you hit the ball. Like, can
No,
you get
no,
a
no.
better screw back or
It's just,
more top spin
it
or
doesn't matter too much. I mean, it's just what you're used to and what you feel is comfortable.
how much does a snooker cue cost?
So it can go from about £100 to maybe £10,000. There's no limit actually to how expensive a snooker cue can get, but a very good. I feel John Paris is one of the best. He makes one of the best snooker cues for professionals. So I think his cues, I've not certain, but his cues range from three to maybe 10, 15,000 pounds also. So
Wow.
yeah.
Why so much?
I mean, just the quality of the wood and of the craftsmanship and everything. I mean, his cues are just worth that much money. To be honest,
You
yeah,
said you've ordered
it's
it.
it's a keeper. I mean, if you just get a John Paris, it's for life. So, and he's such an amazing, humble person
Yeah.
to speak to. So,
And like you said, you just ordered a new cue. How much have you spent?
so I've ordered a new cue from John Paris. I still have to talk to him about the specifics. To be honest, about the price for the cue. But yeah.
And like, do the cues have like special lacquer on them to make them to stop them from breaking, or how is that?
So it's just ash wood cues and got a layer of polish on it or whatever, however you like it. But yeah, it's really tough to break a snooker cue. You need to like bang it at least 3 4 times to break it. But yeah, you need to keep it like your baby kind of. And
Absolutely,
yeah,
because just leaning it against a wall can bend it, right?
yeah. I mean, if you just keep it on the wall, if you just keep it, maybe you keep it in a case in your car as well. It can bend it. And obviously with the weather in UK, it anything can happen to it. It can become stiff. Anything can happen. The wood can get spoiled.
Wow.
So you need to take care of
So
it.
how do you take care of it?
So I have actually a nice leather cover for the cue case. So it's like double layered. So I just keep my cue in that all the time. So it is warm all the time.
Something really amazing is that you actually, after starting playing snooker, you took 3 years off.
Yeah.
How did that come about? What happened?
So 2016 was when I was about 19 years old, and I had the best national championship till that time. So I was the junior national champion in billiards and snooker, and also I reached the top four of the men's national for the first time. So just to explain, our national championship in India works as under 19. We've got billiards and snooker because billiards is very famous in India as well. So we have billiards event separately. So we've got under 19 billiards snooker, we've got under 21 billiards snooker, and we've got a men's event which is open for everyone. So we've got billiards snooker in that as well. So there were 6 events. So I won under 21. I won both the events and finished number 4 in men's snooker. So I think that was my best nationals ever till that time when I was a junior. And then I think 3 months later, I had a fall and I hurt my ankle a lot, and it had like almost come out of my leg kind of, and it had turned into
Wow.
almost the size of a tennis ball.
Wow.
So I had to do intense physiotherapy, and I couldn't walk properly for about 6 7 months. And I think at that time I just started. I was gaming from way before when I started playing snooker when I was a kid. I started gaming also at the same time,
Mhm.
and my weekends used to be gaming night out with my friends. So I already knew how to play uh, the esport thing. But then I joined the team and I got really good at it in 2017 March, and I think that's when my professional gaming career started at that time. So till about 2019 January, I was completely into gaming. I didn't play snooker a lot. I just
Wow.
played maybe 1 month, 1 2 months of snooker in that period. In about
Wow.
3 months, yeah.
Did your love for the game fall out for it, or was your
Yeah, I mean,
interest stopped there?
I felt like I was switching careers, to be honest, at
Right.
that time. I thought I'll be gaming for another 5 years. So
And
into
that's a
it,
career?
yeah, as a career, I mean, I was really good at it. I was almost the best player for 1.5 year, and I was in the best team in India.
Do you get paid for that?
Yes, you get a hell of a lot paid for it than snooker for sure in
Wow.
India. And yeah, I mean, I was in a contract with the gaming organization in November, December 2019.
Hmm.
And I think 4 months into the contract, COVID hit and everything just shut down. All the tournaments, most of the companies, organization, they backed out sponsorships. So I think the gaming part just died down in India a lot. It was still big in some parts of Asia like China and maybe Japan, Korea. It was still good, but India had kind of died down in the sport I was playing, which was the game called Counter Strike Global Offensive. Uh, so I think when the first wave of COVID ended, I think it lasted for about 6 7 months. The first wave. After that ended, I thought this is the right time to get back with snooker, get back on track with snooker because almost everyone's on a level now in
Yeah.
India. Nobody's practiced for about 6 7 months. Everybody's been home. This is the right time to gain advantage. And I just started training really hard in snooker.
What does that mean?
I took a lot of coaching with my coach over there in India.
The
I
same,
practiced a lot.
and he was your coach from before?
Yeah, he was my coach since 2012, and he was very, very upset when I started gaming. For about 2 3 years, he used to call up mom and say, "Where is Ishpreet? I mean, why doesn't he play in tournaments anymore?" And I mean, I couldn't speak to him and tell him that I don't want to play snooker like kind of anymore.
Do you think he spotted the talent in you?
I mean, he did, yeah. Till now, I feel like I'm his favorite student, and I don't think I can switch coaches ever, probably because I'm so close to him. He's more like a father figure in my life.
Yeah.
He's also my mentor, my well wisher, everything. So,
Wow.
uh, yeah, I mean, if not for him, I wouldn't be at this level for sure. I mean, he was an ex-professional snooker player as well.
Why
He,
did he retire?
so he actually retired for kind of his family. His father told him to join the company he worked for. His company, he had a factory, so he had to run it. He had to run the family business as well. So I think, yeah, he played for about 6 7 seasons. He was in the UK. He played professional snooker for long, but yeah, I think he's the best coach. If anyone wants training in India, you go to him, and he's a lovely person. You can just speak to him once, and he'll just come over. I'll help you out in every way possible.
And you are from, is it Delhi or
Mumbai,
Mumbai?
yes.
What's Mumbai like?
Amazing. I think the best city to live in.
Really?
Yeah, hundred
Tell us a
percent.
little bit about Mumbai. So, few of our viewers at home have probably never even heard about Mumbai or seen Mumbai or don't know what it's like. There's a lot of TikToks about the food, street food,
Yeah.
and people putting stuff in their armpit, and people go, "Oh, it's not a nice country. The hygiene is not good." But tell us the other side of India and what's Mumbai like?
I mean, the area that I live in is called Bandra, and it's, I think, one of the cleanest places in Mumbai for sure. It has one of the best places to live. Like, the housing facilities are amazing. Everything is amazing in that place, and I think Mumbai overall is an amazing place to live. Also, it's, I think, top four in the world for food. So I don't think anybody will complain for food. You can get each and every cuisine in Mumbai. You've got malls, you've got gardens. It's a lovely place for your kids to grow up. You've got amazing schools, amazing colleges. Yeah, overall, it's the best. I feel is the best city to live in India for sure.
And how are the houses different?
It's a lot bigger for sure. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of space over there. Tall buildings. There's a sort of a club culture. So the club I practice in Mumbai is like just a 10-minute walk from my house. It's called Khar Gymkhana. So there is each and every sport in that club. You name the sport and it's there, and you've got coaches there. You can train over there. You can spar with your fellow players. So it's just amazing. There's so much facilities. Like, Mumbai is one of the places where you've got everything. I mean, if you want to become a sports player, if you want to work in any profession, it's amazing.
Mhm. Are the houses expensive in Mumbai? How much
Yes,
are
for
they
sure.
like in English money?
So I think it can range from about it depends on which area you're living in. So the more South Mumbai, the more posh areas start from about 800,000, 900,000 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, the posh areas. And then the lower ones are like, if you go a little bit outskirts
Yeah.
of Mumbai, then it goes down to about 200 to about 400,000 pounds.
Wow.
But
That's still quite a lot for it.
yeah,
Because I
yeah.
don't know why. I just feel
It's
that.
it's one of the expensive cities as
Yeah.
well, for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
the hotels are expensive. If
Yeah.
players are traveling for a tournament to Mumbai, it's kind of expensive. So yeah.
Nice. So going back to your break and then when you came back, How long did it take you to get your rhythm back?
Yeah, I
And
think it took a while. It took me at least 2 months, maybe more, maybe 3 months to get back
was
to
it
the
really
level I was, and
must
then even better than that.
really?
Yeah, I mean,
It must have been really frustrating at first, though,
yeah, it was
because you
really
can't do
frustrating.
what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I didn't want to play snooker because for the first month I thought this is too much. I mean, it felt like starting playing snooker again, even though you had the knowledge, but to execute shots, it was too much, kind of. But after 3 months, it felt like I was playing better than before. So there was a lot of change, to be honest.
What separates you from the way you're playing now to the top people in the game?
Over here, so I think it has to be experience. It has to be a certain level of skill as well involved. But I come from a country where snooker is not that popular. If it was, I'd probably take me lesser time to get much more better at the sport. But yeah, I think a lot of experience playing over here, living over here. I think playing a lot of matches also helps. If you keep winning matches, that means you're playing more matches. That just helps with experience. And I think I need a little bit more experience to get to the top of my game as well.
So, do you live in the UK as well?
Yes, I do. I do. Me
Okay,
and my mom, like I'm living here full time, but my mom keeps on traveling back and forth.
right.
Obviously, because she's just on a tourist visa.
Okay,
So yeah, I'm living currently living in Sheffield
right.
at the time. Yeah, since almost 2 years now.
Okay.
We've rented an apartment in Sheffield and yeah, based there fully. And I went back to India in January, and almost about after almost about 7 months, I was here at a stretch. So it was a good kind of refreshment for me as well.
Wow. Nice, man. Well, we've got a link up in Sheffield. I think I'm speaking at an event in May or June, a
Okay.
property event, and there's 400 people there.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to come across. I need to introduce you to some of my friends.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
would
Sure.
probably love to have you, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so I have got some, just sort of some questions in terms of what's the biggest obstacles you faced in your early years?
I mean, the biggest. I mean, I don't. I feel that I've had a comfortable life. I've not had too many obstacles by the grace of Guruji Maharaj and my mom. She's always been a huge support in every part of my life. So I haven't faced too many obstacles. But if if it's related to the game, then probably somewhere. Uh, it would go somewhere around my fitness level. It wasn't the best at all. I was really unfit in 2017 18 when I was gaming. When I had stopped playing snooker, I had got really unfit, and during the COVID years I just focused a lot on physical fitness as well as getting a personal trainer for myself.
So
Uh,
what did you do? Like what sort of training?
So I just did freestyle training at home. I used to call my trainer at home and just do training. Uh, just free hand exercises, leg exercises, stuff like that. Not machines at all, because I feel like the muscle memory changes a lot when you use machines in the gym. So I've never done that. But yeah, I lost a lot of weight in the COVID years, and I feel that helped a lot with my game as well. But yeah, I've got a lot more work to do in terms of physical fitness. Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever question if you could become a professional? Like in boxing, you can turn professional at any time. First of all, is there sort of a certain thing you need to do in snooker to turn professional?
You don't need to do anything. I mean, you just need to take part in one of the qualifying events. For me, it was the Q school in Bangkok, the Asia Oceania Q school. And when I went into the event, I didn't know if I would qualify or not. I wasn't expecting, actually. I just went there as an experience, and it turned out I just won all of the matches and I qualified. So it came kind of as a shock to me as well. But yeah, after I qualified, I we were like confused. Should we should we come to the UK or no? Because when you're not expecting something and you just qualify from all of a sudden, and then you're thinking.
Mm.
So it was tough.
When you face like one of the, four times world champion Mark Selby, do you have a strategy on how you're going to beat him? I know you concentrate in your game as well,
Hmm.
but is there a way that you think, I've watched you for years, I know this is your weakness and this is what I need to do?
I don't think he's got any weaknesses, to be honest. I mean, for me, he's one of the most complete players in snooker, and I've watched so many of his matches, especially the World Championship finals. So, I mean, I knew that I had to produce something extraordinary or play to the level best to beat him. And I think I did that in the match. And he was also not at the best of his level. So I felt that went hand in hand.
So you never feel fear or intimidation by somebody of.
No, for sure not. I think that's one of my greatest strengths is that I don't look at opponents too much and don't feel fear or intimidated by
Mm.
anyone in the
How
sport.
do you keep calm under pressure?
That's just, I feel you just need to learn as you grow older. I feel as many matches you can play, you can just handle pressure, stay calm. Because sometimes early I used to just hurriedly play some shots or make some mistakes. But I think it's gotten lot better now with experience.
Mhm. Every athlete out there always has some sort of, certain losses or setbacks. What's one of the biggest losses that affected you?
One of the biggest losses has to be, I think, in my first season, I was really excited about the World Championships, and I was really excited to play in a best of 19 format. And when I played my first match and I lost my first match itself, I was down 7-1 or 7-2 in the first session of the match,
Yeah.
and I lost 10-5 or 10-6. I can't remember properly, but yeah, I think that was one of the matches that really affected me, the end of the first season. And I thought from that point onwards, I thought that you're giving too much importance to
Mm.
this. And when you give too much importance to anything in life and you don't get it, or you cannot perform well, I think it affects you too much. So after that point, I just thought, just treat every match equally, no matter how big or small it is. And I feel that's what's changed from the first season and in the second season then.
Mm. Makes sense. How does your training, sort of, what does your training consist of in terms of when you're playing snooker and you're doing your practicing? How much is it to do with your striking, your safety? Are there any drills that you do, like some people roll all of them up in the middle and practice this screw back and to get their flow going? What tell us some of the stuff that you do.
So I've got some routines that I like to do. One of them is a T-shaped line ball practice. It's like kind of you put four reds on either side of the pink and five reds in between the black and the pink, and two reds under the black on the top cushion, and just clear up with all blacks. And it's kind of a specific routine which you do, and you have to take all blacks with all the reds. So it has to be a 1 for 7 in that, and it's a little bit tougher to do than normally just clearing it up with any of the colors, or just to take reds in order. Also, uh, I like to practice some safety drills sometimes for about 10-15 minutes every day, so that I'm a little bit sharp when it comes to safety in the match as well. And my normal day is playing about 1 hour solo practice just by myself, doing routines and safety and stuff. And the rest 2 or 3 hours playing sparring with somebody, maybe some of the Chinese or Thai players, and just playing a best of 7, 9, 11, depending on what tournament is next and what format that event is.
Do you never get bored playing by yourself?
Sometimes I do, but you have to keep on doing it. I
Do
mean,
you put any music or anything like that in the background? Do you
no,
need
no,
your
no, no,
concentration?
no, no, no. I just think like if you're not allowed to do that in the match, then it doesn't help you to do it in practice, because what you do in practice transfers in the match, and you don't want to do. I mean, if supposing you're listening to music in practice and then you don't have that in the match, and you feel there's so much noise around, how do you cope with that? So you need to cope with that in the practice as well.
So it's like your exam conditions
Yes, yes, for sure.
has to mimic the same.
Yes, for sure.
Have you ever got a 147?
In practice, yes, 5 times
Wow,
in practice. Yeah, never in a match. My highest break in the match is a 144.
144.
Yeah,
Wow,
I think, and 137 is my highest break in the UK, and like
wow.
in the on the pro tour. So
How does it feel when you make that sort of big break?
yeah, obviously gives you a lot of confidence. Although it's just one frame, you just even an 80 break will give you the same satisfaction, kind of. Maybe not to the fullest, but in terms of winning a frame, if you make an 80 break or a 147, it doesn't matter. It just counts as one frame. So I don't put a lot of importance to that.
Do you win some money if you get a 147?
Yes, of course, yeah. You get the highest break prize of the tournament, or if there's some other special bonus prize, then you
Okay.
get that as well.
And how much is that normally?
So it actually varies from tournament to tournament. I think the normal highest break price for a 147 in any tournament is about 5 or 10,000 pounds. But in some events, if you there are 4 events in the calendar year, if you make two 147s in those events, then you get 147,000 pounds.
Wow,
So that is huge
that
money.
is big.
That is huge money. Yeah.
What's the biggest arena you can play in? Because one of them were recently closed, right? About a year or two ago. There was a big snooker place that was closed.
So I think the biggest arena I've played in was in Berlin, which was the German Masters.
Right.
So there's an arena called Tempodrome, and I think that's the most beautiful arena I've seen and I've played in. And
Mhm.
that's where I had beaten Luca Brecel.
Right. Okay.
So I kind of got inspired
Mhm.
by seeing the arena and the fans over there.
More about the Crucible.
I haven't been to the Crucible, to be
No,
honest. Yeah, so I would hopefully want to qualify for that
because
the
that's the
next time I
name.
play.
That's the name we normally hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Is you want to play at the
I mean that
Crucible?
that's what affects you a lot. You want to play at the Crucible and you think about the World Championship, and then when you don't perform, it just gets to you,
Hmm.
kind of. So you don't want to be in the pressure of qualifying for it. Just play the game as it comes.
Hmm. I know you say you normally concentrate on your own game. You don't worry about who you're playing. But do you like part of your own game? Do you adapt yourself? Would you know that player's got these abilities? Do you adapt in any way, shape, or form?
I mean, some when you like, for my instance, I've almost like been on the tour for almost 2 years now, so I almost know every player's positives and negatives, kind of. But you don't really see that in the match. You just try to play the best you can when you get your chances. But sometimes that this player is good at break building, this player is good at long potting, so you try to avoid giving them the best situations for them.
Hmm.
So most of the time, like 90% of the time, you just focus on your game. But sometimes when the match is getting close, you just keep telling yourself that don't give him an opportunity so that he can finish up easy.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Who do you
it's
think is the
just,
most dangerous player out there?
I mean, it has to be Ronnie when it comes to sheer snooker. I mean, his match play is second to none, I feel. And when he's playing his best, is probably impossible to beat him, kind of.
What do you think of Stephen Hendry?
Yeah, I think he was one of my favorite players when he used to play. I actually didn't watch him at his peak, when because I hadn't started playing snooker at that time. So uh, I mean, when he retired is the time when I started playing snooker. So I think after I started playing snooker, I watched some of his old matches back, and he was so aggressive, and he was such a treat to watch when he used to play, because he was one of the players who changed the how snooker was supposed to be played in that era. So
And how was that?
yeah, it was amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
my coach used to actually copy Stephen Hendry a lot
yeah,
in terms of technique, and he's told me himself. And yeah, I mean, it's just amazing that how people used to maybe treat him, and how big Stephen Hendry was at that time.
big time.
Yeah,
I always remember, I don't know if it was 95, 96, but it was a final. There was Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Stephen Hendry, and they were like the two biggest names.
yeah,
And they couldn't pot the simplest black.
yeah,
You know, it was the longest black game, and we didn't know which way it was going to go. Like,
yeah.
that was pressure.
Yeah, sometimes you get those sort of games because that can be a turning point in a match. So I think every player experiences that
Mm.
in a
So,
match.
so you beat Stuart Bingham twice now as well.
Yeah, I beat him in one of the Chinese event qualifiers. I think it was the World Open qualifier in January last year. Yeah, I think I played really well in that match as well. I had just come back from India, so I was kind of in a good holiday mood, and played really well against him.
Yeah. What life lessons has snooker given you? You know, what have you learned from snooker that you can apply to life?
I mean, for me, I feel for me and for other players, other professional snooker players, I feel snooker is one of the toughest uh, sports to play mentally. I mean, it takes a lot out of you. If you're not playing well, if you're on a losing streak, it can affect you in ways you cannot imagine.
Mm,
You can go into depression, you can
really?
probably ruin your career as well, but you have
Wow.
to stay strong in that time. And I think if you can, it helps you if you can go through that and then come out on top, then you feel that you can do anything in life. You can, if you can come back from the lowest point in your career, you feel that whatever life throws at you, you can come back from it as well. So I think that is one of the biggest life lessons you can get from sport. And I think every young person who's studying right now, or whose parents tell them to study, should play a sport for sure, because sport teaches you a lot more to life than life itself.
Absolutely. Something I've got to touch on here, and it just doesn't make sense to me, is we look at like Stephen Hendry, we look at, you know, people like Steve Davies, and the more you practice at something, the better you get. But how comes you have to retire and at the end of the game they're not doing as well? You know, surely you know the weight of your cue. Surely you know your way around the table. Don't you just get better and better? Like, what's the thing behind that?
I don't know because I haven't experienced it yet, but I think from what I see and what I've heard is that when you get older, your muscle memory gets weaker, your eyesight gets weaker.
Right,
I think those are the two factors. Your hand-eye coordination, which is the most important in snooker, it gets a little bit weaker
right.
when you get older. So I think without that, you cannot play to the highest level. And every everyone has a breaking point in their career, I feel. And I think it's when you can't sight the ball properly, that's when you cannot play, you cannot win too much. So I feel for every player, it's some kind of age limit till when you can play snooker. So I feel the younger you are, the better chances you have to play well.
Yeah. How's Ding Junhui? Is it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he's
that's right.
still playing on the circuit.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
One of
because
the most humble people I've met on the
really,
tour. Yeah, for sure.
really, because he was very young when he started, right?
Yes,
He
yes.
was a very young player. Um, what do you think of John Higgins?
John Higgins is an absolute gentleman for sure. I mean, he's such a grounded, humble person, and he's lovely to speak to you. Whenever you speak to him, he'll always smile. He'll He'll give you advice on the table if you ask him anything. Just an amazing person, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing because he was one of my favorite players as well. He's been playing for years and
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
but something came out about some sort of match fixing or something like that. Do you know what comes about when?
No, I have actually no idea about that, so
Okay,
cannot comment. But I have to say he's one of the most technically sound players on the tour, and one of the most skillful players I feel,
mhm. So
for
you
sure.
also mentioned to me that you've got some sort of oil company behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us more about that.
So I joined Bharat Petroleum, uh, which is BPCL in short. It's called
Okay.
Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. It's the second largest government based petroleum company in India, and it's just huge in India. And I'm so happy that I play snooker for them. I'm a sports player employee for Bharat Petroleum, and there are a lot of cricketers and other sports players in Bharat Petroleum as well, and many other companies like Indian Oil, ONGC. We've got Oil, HP, India. We've got many companies over there. So a lot of sports players are linked to some of the best companies in
So
India.
how does that work with them?
So I just play snooker for them, and
Okay.
I get I'm like on a salary with them, obviously,
Okay.
and also they support and encourage me a lot playing. Normally they don't usually have different rules for players. Normally they want players to play domestic and the amateur events over there, like the Asian and World Championship. But they've given me a kind of a freedom to come here and play snooker. So
Wow.
I'm really obliged that
Wow.
they are so supportive of
They're
my career.
supporting the next
In yeah,
generation. They
yeah,
they want India to be out there,
yeah, yeah.
and that's amazing to hear. So I've got just a couple of fire round questions for you.
Right.
What's your favorite victory?
Has to be Mark Selby.
Yeah. Who's been your toughest opponent?
My toughest opponent. I feel like I've played David Gilbert twice, so I feel like he's played really well against me a couple of times. So I would say David Gilbert. Yeah.
Okay. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Um, the best advice. I think it was from my coach, Mr. Yasin Merchant. He told me that uh, if you, it doesn't matter if you become a good snooker player or not. You have to be a good human being.
Mhm. I love that
Yeah.
because that's what our religion's about as
Yeah.
well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just help other people
Right.
have good, clean heart, good energy. It's about karma, right?
Yes.
Karma
That's
and
right.
that. Is there a pre-match ritual that you ever do before a match? Is there something that you do?
Uh, except that my mom kisses my hand 3 times
Oh,
before every match. I think no, I just listen to some a kind of if you would say prayer. It's like a jap. We call a jap in
oh, jump.
Punjabi. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like a mantra jap. I listen to Guruji's mantra jap. So it's like just Om Namah Shivaya on a you know kind of a recording kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
amazing. And what's your favorite food after a match? And I know you're probably gonna say your mom's cooking, but you need to tell us a dish.
So I love Thai food recently. So I would
Okay.
love some Thai food after a match if win or lose doesn't matter.
What's that
But
like?
yeah.
Chicken satay chicken
Yeah,
or
I
pad
just
thai?
love the chow mein noodles or the Thai fried rice or pad Thai noodles or anything. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Lovely. You've absolutely been amazing on this podcast. Is there a message you'd like to say to the fans at home or people who support you, watch you, or just general people at home? What's a message that you'd like to give?
Yeah, so I'd like to thank everyone, firstly, who's followed me all over social media, who sent me messages on WhatsApp. Uh, I'd like to thank Bharat Petroleum for the support and encouragement always. And I would like to just send a message to all the young fans that please do play a sport, any sport, it doesn't matter. If you play it professionally or not, you should play a sport. It teaches you a lot more in life. And don't get depressed. All the little things that, it doesn't matter. Your parents matter a lot. Respect your parents. Don't take too much stress and just live happy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely some phenomenal advice you've given there. Thank you so much for coming on. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you really, really enjoyed that episode. If you're not already, please make sure you follow Ishpreet. He's a young sports star in the snooker game, and he's changing the way things are done, because it only takes one person to change the culture of a whole country. And maybe he's going to make it just as big as cricket is in India too. So don't forget to smash the subscribe button, leave Ishpreet a comment if you have any questions, and share this with somebody who needs it. Peace.